Hello students, welcome back. I hope you must be enjoying my lectures. In this session, we will be studying the topic of cube roots of unity and nth roots of unity. You will get to know the various properties of cube roots of unity like 1 plus omega square is 0 while omega cube is equal to 1. We shall also discuss the nth roots of unity and its various properties. So let's begin.
Okay, so now that we have discussed the De Moivre's theorem, now we'll be switching to the cube roots of unity, in which we'll also be utilizing that theorem, right? So in cube roots of unity, that means z cube minus 1 equal to 0 is the equation that we have. So as we discussed in that theorem, we can write z as 1 raised to the power 1 by 3, and then you'll be expressing it in polar form. So it becomes cos 0 plus iota sine 0 raised to the power 1 by 3. If you remember the steps of the De Moivre's theorem, this is how we proceeded in order to find the roots. So next, what we did was we added 2m pi in the principal argument. So this becomes cos 2m pi plus 0. 0 was the angle, so we have cos 0 plus 2m pi plus iota times sine 0 plus 2m pi whole raised to the power 1 by 3. Next, now apply the De Moivre's theorem so that the power gets multiplied with the angle. So 1 by 3 will get multiplied by 2m pi. So we'll have cos 2m pi by 3 plus iota times sine 2m pi by 3, where m will vary from 0, 1 and 2. M will vary between 0, 1 and 2. So then just put the values of m, that is m for m equal to 0 we'll get z1 as cos 0 plus iota sine 0, that becomes 1. Then for m equal to 1, you will get the second root as cos 2 pi by 3 plus iota sine 2 pi by 3. That becomes minus half plus root 3 I by 2. So just remember this value, minus 1 plus root 3 I by 2. This we term as omega, and it is denoted by this symbol, right? Then we have for m equal to 2, we will get cos 4 pi by 3 plus iota sine 4 pi by 3. That will become minus 1 by 2 minus root 3 I by 2. So this value we term as omega square. You will not have to remember these values, you will all get it in your mind, you will memorize it directly when you solve good number of questions based on this topic, right? So you won't have to memorize these values as such. But these values are extremely important. We'll be utilizing it in various questions, the values of 1, omega and omega square. These are the three cube roots of unity, that is 1, omega and omega square. So now what we have is omega cube is 1, these are the important properties. Omega cube is 1, omega raised to 3n is 1 for n belongs to I. 1 plus omega square is 0. All these properties are extremely important because they are generally used in questions, right? So just remember these properties. 1 plus omega raised to r plus omega raised to 2r is, it becomes 0 if 3 is not if r is not a multiple of 3, and it will be 3 if r is a multiple of 3. So it can either have the value 0 or it can have the value 3. Now it is obviously on the basis of this property only that we have discussed omega cube is 1, omega raised to 3n is 1. So if r becomes a multiple of 3, this will be 1, this will be 1, so finally the result would be 3. Cube roots of unity form an equilateral triangle whose side is root 3 units. You can see it here in this figure. This is 1. 1 can be represented by the ordered pair 1, 0, that is 1 plus 0 I. Then we have minus 1 plus root 3 I by 2, so this is omega. And minus 1 minus root 3 I by 2 is omega square. So these are the three cube roots of unity. They form an equilateral triangle whose side is root 3 units. So this is just for your information's sake. Now we have some important facts like a cube plus b cube is equal to, this formula, a plus b into a square minus ap plus b square. Now we can also write it as, instead of minus we can write omega plus omega square using the result this. So this gives me omega plus omega square is minus 1. So I have written minus 1 as this. Just open up the brackets, then take a common, take b omega square common, and finally you get it like this. So a cube plus b cube can be written as a plus b into a plus b omega square into a plus b omega. Similarly, a cube minus b cube can be written as a minus b into a minus b omega square into a minus b omega. And a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc is equal to a plus b plus c into a plus b omega plus c omega square into a plus b omega square plus c omega. This is how you can write these formulae in terms of 1 omega omega square. Okay, now we have the first question which says find the sum of series 1 into 2 minus omega into 2 minus omega square plus 2 into 3 minus omega square plus so on n minus 1 n minus omega square, where omega is one of the imaginary cube root of unity. So you'll have to utilize the properties of omega, right? Now this is saying we have to find the sum of this series. So I take the nth term is given by n minus 1, n minus omega and n minus omega square. So what I'll do is just open up these two brackets, so I get omega plus omega square plus omega cube. Now just remember, these are the two basic properties which are extremely useful and are generally used in questions, right? So this gives me, this remains as it is. Then I have n square minus n into minus 1, omega plus omega square becomes minus 1 using this one, plus I'll have 1 because omega cube is 1. So this becomes n minus 1 into n square plus n plus 1. So Tn finally becomes n cube minus 1. You are required to find out the sum of the series. Therefore, Sn would be equal to sigma Tn. Summation varies from 1 to n. So this will become summation n cube minus summation 1. What about summation n cube? This, if you remember the formula, this is n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square. Sum of cubes of first and natural numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square. And this will be minus summation 1 is n. So this is the final answer. And so this question was quite simple. This concept is quite simple, the concept of cube roots of unity, but you will have to practice a good number of questions to develop a very good speed and to understand the utilization of these formulae, right? So the next question that we have is, if x is 1 minus root 3i, y is 1 plus root 3i and z is 2, then prove that x raised to the power p plus y raised to the power p is equal to z raised to the power p, where p is a prime number greater than 3. Okay, so we are given x is 1 minus root 3i. What I do is, I make it as minus 1 plus root 3i by 2 so that I can get it in the form of omega, right? So by seeing this term, this thing should strike your mind that you will have to make some terms of omega and omega square so that you can utilize those properties. So I make it in the form of omega, so I have it as minus 2 omega, and then similarly y is 1 plus root 3i. So again what I do is, this becomes minus 1 minus root 3i by 2, so it will become minus 2 omega square. So x raised to p is equal to minus 2 omega raised to the power p, which means minus 2 to the power p omega raised to the power p, and y raised to the power p is again minus 2 omega square raised to the power p, so minus 2 raised to the power p omega raised to the power 2p, right? So x raised to the power p plus y raised to the power p, as we have been asked to find out this, to prove that this is equal to z raised to the power p. So x raised to the power p plus y raised to the power p becomes minus 2 to the power p is common, and then I have omega to the power p plus omega raised to the power 2p. So minus 2 to the power p is common. This becomes minus 1, again using those properties, and this I have is z to the power p because z is given to be 2. So again this question was also simple. Now we have nth roots of unity, right? So z raised to the power n minus 1 is equal to, this should be nth roots of unity. So z raised to the power n minus 1 is 0, again following the same procedure as we discussed in De Moivre's theorem, and then in cube roots of unity, here also we will be following the same procedure. Z becomes 1 raised to the power 1 by n, polar form representation, adding 2m pi, applying the De Moivre's theorem and finding out the roots. So for m equal to 0, I get z1 as 1, z2 I get as e raised to I 2 pi by n, z3 I am getting as e raised to the power I 4 pi by n. So if I assume this to be alpha, this will become alpha square. Similarly, I will have alpha raised to the power n minus 1. Since it is z raised to n minus 1 is 0, we will have n roots, and therefore m will vary from 0 to n minus 1, right. So this says that if 1 alpha, alpha square, so on alpha n minus 1 are the nth roots of unity which are in GP with common ratio alpha is this. This we have already seen here. This is alpha, then we have alpha square, so the common ratio is alpha, and alpha is e raised to the power I 2 pi by n, right, and it forms a GP. Sum of nth roots of unity is always 0, that is 1 plus alpha square plus alpha raised to n minus 1 is always 0. How do we get this? Let us assume is to be 1 minus alpha raised to n by 1 minus alpha, where alpha we know is 2 pi I by n, e raised to the power 2 pi I by n. So alpha raised to n would be e raised to the power 2 pi I by n. So this becomes e raised to the power 2 pi I, that becomes 1, right. So alpha raised to n becomes 1, and therefore S is 1 minus 1 by 1 minus alpha, which becomes 0. So you have this result that sum of nth roots of unity is always 0. Next one says sum of pth powers of nth roots of unity is n if p is an integral multiple of n, and 0 if p is not an integral multiple of n. So this property is also simple. Now I have an example based on this, that if alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha 4, alpha 5 are non-real nth roots of unity, alpha 5 and so on. It says if alpha 1, alpha 2, so on, it will be till alpha n are non-real nth roots of unity, then prove that 1 minus alpha 1, 1 minus alpha 2, 1 minus alpha so on, alpha n minus 1 is equal to n. Okay. So how do we proceed in this question? Now we know that z raised to n minus 1 if I take, that is equal to z minus 1, z minus alpha 1, z minus alpha 2 and so on, z minus alpha n minus 1. So if I take this term here, I get it as z minus alpha 1, z minus alpha 2 and z minus alpha n minus 1. Now 1 plus z square so on, z raised to the power n minus 1 is z minus alpha 1, z minus alpha 2 so on, z minus alpha n minus 1. Now what I do is I just put z equal to 1. So what does it give me? 1 plus so on 1 n times is equal to 1 minus alpha 1, 1 minus alpha 2 so on, 1 minus alpha n minus 1, and we were required to find out the value of this term only. It is adding 1 gets added n times, so it becomes n is equal to this term, and so the answer is n. We had to prove in fact. So what have I done? We know that z raised to the power n minus 1 is z minus 1, z minus alpha 1 so on, z minus alpha n minus 1, and I've taken this term in the denominator on the left hand side, so it becomes this. Now we know 1 plus z square z raised to the power n minus 1 is z minus alpha 1, z minus alpha 2, z minus alpha n minus 1. Just put z equal to 1 and you get the required result.
Well, I hope you must have understood the topic of cube roots of unity and nth roots of unity. This was a very interesting topic, and again it is simple, so it can fetch you some easy scores. In the next session, we will be discussing the concept of geometry of complex numbers, which is quite a vast topic. Stay tuned for my next lectures.